Hello everyone, welcome to my sports channel, Mecaniquesportive. This is Nicholas Jordan. Today I'm presenting the Bigster, but with the brand new engine from Dacia. Yeah, it's the Hybrid 1000, G140, G for liquefied petroleum gas for those who know. Dacia used to call it Eco-G before, and now it's evolved. More displacement, more power, even more liquefied petroleum gas, a bigger tank, and an even greater announced range. This car can go up to 1,400 kilometers. We'll test its performance. On the road, the differences and doing a little consumption test, and both on liquefied petroleum gas and gasoline. I'll do 125 kilometers on gasoline and 125 kilometers on liquefied petroleum gas. And we'll see the real consumption on a bit of all types of roads. And see what it gives, basically. Let's go. I often discuss new cars, but if you prefer used cars or already own one, check this out. So, the Dacia Bigster. I won't give you a full presentation again since I've already done that before. A four-wheel drive liquefied petroleum gas version is coming soon, likely in early 2026, which I'll probably test for you. The Bigster is now available with 4 engines, and it starts at 24,900 euros with the engine I have here. Eco-G or Eco-G 1000 Hybrid G features a 1.2-liter engine with 140 horsepower. And with this engine, it's available in Essential, Expression, Extreme, and Journey trims. The last two are the highest trims. Essential is the entry-level version, the simplest one, and for the simplest one, they chose to include. The most economical engine is interesting, since when seeking an affordable car, you want an economical engine. That's not always true. Cheap cars, such as small city cars, often use more fuel. They use a lot of fuel due to basic engines, but they're inexpensive. They said, let's put in a fairly recent engine, so the 1.2-liter. That's what you even find on the Austral, etc. If I'm not mistaken, that's 140 horsepower. When you're running on liquefied petroleum gas, you should always know that with liquefied petroleum gas, you have a little more power than with gasoline, including 48-volt micro-hybridization. Then there will be the version, the 1-liter, with 140 horsepower, just micro-hybrid, 48-volt S, but without liquefied petroleum gas, which will be about the same. Then there's the version, 4-wheel drive, turbo control efficiency 130 horsepower. That's good, but it's being replaced by the new version. I already discussed the liquefied petroleum gas setup with a small engine at the back during the Dacia Days in a studio, where we showed you the chassis and more. But I'm eager to try it since it'll be the new engine for both the Duster and Bigster. There are many things. Dacia has new releases coming at the end of the year for 2026, including for the Sandero and Sandero Stepway, and all that, a lot of evolution. So this one today has 2 tanks, 50 liters of gasoline and the liquefied petroleum gas tank as well, which has grown to 50 liters this time. Before, it was 40 liters, now it's 50 liters. And they're announcing a total range of 1,400 kilometers. With both gasoline and liquefied petroleum gas, I think we can get close to that. I wanted to keep it much longer, but in the end, I only have this car for 24 hours since it's in very, very high demand. I wanted a road trip, but as a nice guy, I'm letting my colleagues have it. The magazines, all the ones you read, or on the internet, that's also the point of sharing. Even if they might not take longer and we'll give you this review, but I wanted to be nice and present it to you anyway. And liquefied petroleum gas and gasoline to see how many kilometers we can do in total. We keep a gigantic trunk, so this Bigster, we keep a 5-seat family car. This car is 4.57 meters long, 1.81 meters wide, and 1.66 meters tall. It's fairly light for this SUV at 1,517 kilos, which is good. 4-wheel drive will still be available. High 19.4 cm ground clearance lets you easily get over most curbs and speed bumps. If you don't want to slow down, the suspension is still comfortable. The Bigster Bigstret is an upgraded, better soundproofed Duster. More comfort, slightly different seats, more space, you got that. It's the Duster, but Bigster. With this engine, you can tow up to 1,500 kilos with brakes and 750 without brakes. We'll test 0 to 100 in 10 seconds plus emergency braking and handling on more dynamic roads and then all types of roads, you know me as usual. Well, the best way to help you rediscover this car is to take you along. So directly like that, the Bigster is basically a Duster but raised, especially with the lower part here, that's different. Much more square and much more massive, much more imposing, and especially this blue, well, it's a color that makes it look premium, almost. That's what they wanted to do a little bit at Dacia. It's true that the blue is actually pretty nice with the sparkles and everything. They still make some nice colors. The lights are the same as on the Duster and others, though. The rims, that's new, and I have to admit, these are my favorite rims from Dacia. They're just gorgeous. Compared to a Duster, we have this part here that's different, where it's not plastic. Here, it's actually painted. It's nice. The mirrors, covers, and two-tone design make it clear it's an SUV. When you see it, you don't think, yeah, it's pricey and nearly resembles a Renault Espace, except for the Dacia design elements. But it's really tough. The hood here is nice and flat, and there's always this kind of thing, a U shape. So here, you can really see it. It's well-defined like this, with the polarizing filter, the grille, and the front camera. What do you think about it? I like it a lot. All the plastic all around, disc brakes on all four wheels. Of course, the roof bars are adjustable as usual, the handles here. You can see this part is extremely elongated to have a huge trunk. The Bigster, which is labeled right there, you can get the glass roof, which is openable and panoramic as an option. The rear is very nice, and you can still see we've got a big baby. Still those kinds of VY. Here, the Dacia in white is this area with a nice bi-texture, the perfectly placed wiper, and shark fin antenna. Overall, you see a big evolution. Check out these beautiful sunset colors. It's really nice with the little Bigster right here. The rear thing. Also, same thing. You can see it's very muscular, like in the front. It's high, so again, you can go over a lot of things, climb curbs, and so on. And as you can see, look, this Bigster is really high up, which really lets you go anywhere, even off-road with this version. The Bigster is mentioned again here with its texture. It always makes me laugh. A camera here also in the mirrors. We have 360-degree cameras and an ultra-generous trunk up to 702 liters, which is extremely rare in this segment, especially at this price. You can fold it down. The seats can be folded directly from here, and we have this part that we can close. This is flexible. Either I can open it up to here, so here it's split in two, either also all the way to the end, just like that, and lift this up for more accessibility. The seat is 40-20-40 with the cup holders and the phone holders you see here. When you fold it down, there's a hook on this side for bags and also on the other side. There are two of them, a cigarette lighter socket and the lever to lower the right seats. You can see here that I've separated them. The trunk is split in two, because I just came back from a test drive of Alpine, so I was on the track with it. The helmets, helmet here, helmet here. My large hiking bag, video bag, and the tripod in the back. I can split it in two so you can see. There's a double floor, so either the floor is at the height of the loading sill here, or there's an extra floor as well. In the rear part, there's an ultra spacious trunk right here, and even more. It closes automatically. That's actually pretty nice. Next, in the back seats area, so the handle here all the way at the top, well, for the kids, they would need to be tall enough to open the door. The back doors are all plastic. Well, we're used to that. We don't blame them for it. Speakers at the bottom. Then we have a kind of small step here. The mats from the versions that are a bit more extreme, etc. Plastic ones are easier to clean, but not always necessary. Always an advantage. We'll talk about it again during this test. And the seats like this, and look, so here we have quite a lot of space. And also at the knee level, it's just gigantic. So I'm going to come and sit here. Inside, there we go. I'm turning the camera around. There you go, Nicholas, 1.8 meters. Look at the space I have. This doesn't exist in most cars. There's never this much space. I have the windows here. They're huge. I have a really nice view of the outside. They're tinted, since this is a slightly higher end version. We have the headrest. Look, I can fold it down. Like this, look, even like this, the trunk seems extremely far away. It's spacious. We have handles up there. Everyone has one except the driver. It's good. There's room. There's space. It's huge. I'm the one driving here. And look, I still have all this space left. In the front near my knees, it's huge. I have plenty of space, even for my feet below. I can fit under the seat, so I've raised it a lot. Then here we have a USB-C port and the air vents, so you can adjust the airflow, and that's it. We have 3 seats in the back with the seat belts right here. That was a big complaint I had about Dacia. Often they were up there in the ceiling, which wasn't great. So now the fact that it's back on the bench seat, that's a real improvement, always. Here's a texture that's a bit true to Dacia, and if I turn you around, you'll be able to see the front. Wow, these sunset lights are beautiful. It's pretty. There you go. With a huge screen, big screen over there, manual gearbox, of course, for this liquefied petroleum gas version. Come on, I'll take you to discover the front. Oh yeah, there's another thing too, and that's why I always leave the key outside, because the key is always the card like this. And when I step back, so the vehicle's mirrors fold in automatically, and as soon as I get close to it, there you go, it opens. That's actually pretty nice, the way it works like that. So I'm gonna put this back in my pocket so I don't lose it, the front door. So it's almost like the back. That's actually pretty nice. So the door is plastic except just here. Where we have a little part that's a bit padded, though I have no idea what this texture is. So then you have the Y shapes you find in the doors. The window and mirror controls are right here with the auto function, so it goes all the way down or all the way up. That's pretty good. It's a bit of a shame because Dacia cars are family-oriented. We also lack a large storage compartment for a big bottle. The mats also here Dacia, pedals that look like this with a big footrest on the side. Next, locate the handbrake. The parking brake here. Switch from liquefied petroleum gas to gasoline here. Open the trunk remotely, the assists. Driving with the personal safety mode, the eco mode if you want to use it. The height of the headlights and deactivating the start and stop if you want. The seats are semi-electric, so we have electric height adjustment or electric backrest, but you move them forward with the rails manually. And then this is what the seat texture looks like. The headrests are as we know them, and the headliner is in a gray like this. I'm going to get inside. Here we go. I'm closing the door, I slide it all the way, and here it is. I love this animation every time. Here's the driver's perspective. I didn't use the wide-angle lens today, but that's okay. We're familiar with the steering wheel and the driving aids here. The cruise control and limiter modes are on this side. The controls are also on this side, and there's something really interesting. There we go. I'll start it like this. Look, so we have the global positioning system screen here, and if it works, normally we have it. A global positioning system here, the game in the mouth, but not normally. We start. I launch Waze. I have Waze here as well. That's a big plus. We have several possible screens. This one. With the driving aids, this one, something pretty simple. And on the side as well, I can make it disappear if I want. There you go, like that. Now we really have simplicity. No, you go away. There we go, in the bottom line with a graduated outline like this. And same thing. Each time I can display information. Here, these are all the details we know in the group. The service, the oil change, the liquefied petroleum gas gauge, the consumption or the distance on gasoline, the total distance of the vehicle, the energy flows, what's running. Is it the battery? Is it the engine? Am I driving? Eco-friendly, a compass. Always nice. The music I'm listening to and the feedback. And depending on whether I press liquefied petroleum gas or not, I'll get the liquefied petroleum gas or gasoline information. Flashing headlights, of course. Now there's an auto mode for the lights. That's good. The windshield wipers on this side, of course, with an automatic mode. Also for the windshield wipers, it's top-notch. The phone holder that I can put here, so you spread it and put your phone in. You can tilt it horizontally or vertically. The big screen right here with CarPlay or Android Auto calls. Wirelessly, for example, right now I'm wireless. You can see there's nothing connected. The phone is in my pocket and it works pretty well. So even if I want to play music again or something else, I can just start it directly like this, and here you can see Nicholas's iPhone is connected. Here, plus I even have a wireless charger right here, look. You have to put it like this, I think. So the wireless screen and so on. Some climate controls right here with turning the air conditioning on and off. It's heated for me and the passenger. Heated steering wheel and defrosting windshield. So, for those who know, look, wait, I'm trying to focus a little. Everything's fine, nicely focused. You'll see all the little filaments in the windshield. I'm not sure you'll see it well, but it's full of tiny winter filaments. So, snow defrosts quickly. Or ice. the air conditioning, so then we have the air conditioning controls. Here, I turn the air conditioning back on. We even have extra features like air recirculation, which is great. And to turn off the air conditioning, it's right here. Hazard lights, vehicle locking, start the car, it's well hidden right here. And here it allows me to see this, so we know this well in the group. It's the music, the modes, etc. Then arrangements here. So this storage isn't really very useful because it slides quickly, it's flat, it's made of plastic, so things tend to fall out easily. I would have liked this one to be a little more slanted. Next, 2 USB-C ports and the cigarette lighter socket right there. Manual gearbox, there we go. So anyway, we know it. A small storage space here for tokens or something else, then 2 cup holders and an armrest that's very, very lightly padded. And then a compartment where you can put small bottles or a few little things. Automatic models can include a refrigerated space or hidden compartment here. The seats. So I showed you that. I showed you there. We have the blind spot warning in the mirrors. We don't have the rounded corners. That's a bit of a shame. All the upper parts are made of pretty basic plastic. This part reminds me of the Duster, even if it's not mentioned. I wish there was a nicely integrated Bigster logo. Here, the air vents. 2 in the center and on the ends. The glove box is still there. Also quite spacious at the top. The rear view mirror is simple. You have to save a little here and there. So, manual. The Save Our Souls button here. The controls for the interior lights are also touch sensitive on this side. Here we have that with the lighting that turns on automatically. Hey kids. The card holder. Up there, it's well crossed, so often when you grab it, it's more on this side. Or they still put it on this side so you can do it with both hands. Not all cars think of that. Good thinking, Dacia. We have a little Bigster coming up on this side. There's one in the rear window all the way over there as well. It's pretty spacious. Anyway, let's try this car to see how it does in terms of fuel consumption. So, after all that, how does it drive? Let's find out. All right, friends, here we go. So, on board this Bigster 140G. So, for liquefied petroleum gas. Now, as I start, I've reset all the counters to 0. So, I have the choice. Either press the little liquefied petroleum gas button here, which switches the car to liquefied petroleum gas. So, when I press for liquefied petroleum gas, there's a slight delay, just for the transition. But right now, for example, the engine is running. It's unnoticeable. Now, 520 kilometers of range on liquefied petroleum gas. When I press again and switch to gasoline, it's 690. That also depends on previous driving. So we're going to start with gasoline to see what the fuel consumption will be like with all types of roads. I'm going to try to go a little farther than usual today to give you a more in-depth test because I know you really like the consumption tests on the channel. And even on a daily basis, because it's always pretty interesting to know how much a car actually consumes. So the manual gearbox, of course, for these liquefied petroleum gas versions. Let's not forget that there's also an all-wheel drive liquefied petroleum gas version coming soon. The 48-volt mild hybrid start-stop system works very well, as you can see from the start. So we don't have auto hold. Maybe that's something that just came up. We don't have auto hold on the manual transmission version, so that's a bit of a shame. But on the hybrid, if I'm not mistaken, it should be available. Being a 48-volt mild hybrid, it restarts much quicker than a regular start-stop. You really need to get it into first gear. I'm almost not used to shifting gears anymore. I think there are a lot of things that are going to move around in the back. Actually, I have the helmets, to be honest with you. For those who have seen or who will see the video of the Alpine A110 Gran Turismo Sport, I just got back from the track and I just swapped the Alpine A110 Gran Turismo Sport that I just returned to pick up this Bigster liquefied petroleum gas. I have to admit, it feels strange sitting so close to the ground. Boom, compared to being up high like this. It's just a different philosophy. You know, we try everything that rolls on the channel. So what I really like is that I'm going to check my consumption because that's where it's going to get interesting. But what's even crazier is having CarPlay directly on the central screen in this car. That feature is usually for high-end cars, so having it here and Waze too is impressive. Plus, I can have CarPlay here. That's just incredible. Honestly, I'm really a total Dacia fan now. Big congratulations. And on top of that, the main thing is that I'm connected to wireless CarPlay with my iPhone, so it's just the best of the best. But as for my safety, personally, I think it hasn't been set up. Oh, it's just that someone isn't pressing it right. Anyway, the Bigster, just having CarPlay on the screen is already something. Here, there are almost no cars right now that do that. This gearbox here, which is quite pleasant, the clutch isn't too hard, which makes it usable without too much trouble. This car is tall and the road is rough. When I drove through here in the Alpine, it was horrible. I was bouncing everywhere. The big advantage of the SUV, indeed, is that. Well, exactly. We're sitting high up. We have a lot of suspension travel. We have more comfort. We're in a very spacious environment, and it feels good. And you also feel a bit removed from the road because you're sitting up high. I feel like in the Bigster, we're heading to Alpine. I feel like nothing can happen to me. So right now, I'm driving on gasoline. The goal is to stay on gasoline for the way there and do the return. For example, on liquefied petroleum gas, so we're going to try to do at least more than 100 kilometers on gasoline. And then we'll try to do more than 100 kilometers on liquefied petroleum gas. Here, I'm in 4th gear. For example, on a steep climb, I don't have the engine revolutions per minute displayed here. I'm going to leave my screen like this because I like it, especially with CarPlay, but in 4th gear, for example, if I floor it. The turbo takes a moment to spool, but then it accelerates well. And here, for example, I went back to 90 at the 90 sign, and even in 5th gear, I see that it's not struggling, even if I press the gas and accelerate. So you can tell that it's more than enough that this little engine, in the end, with the turbo, it pushes hard enough. And honestly, I hadn't tried this engine yet, so I had tried the hybrid versions. The hybrid versions were great. To be honest, even now, it's really not bad. Plus, I have my cruise control here. Now I'm gonna set the cruise control. And we're going to be pretty good. There's the police signal there. Oh, really? I didn't know. Someone's tailgating me. Let's move over. There we go. And here we go. Even in 6th gear at high revs, I don't see the police. It's pretty nice. The engine is fairly quiet. Normal 90. Honestly, it's actually pretty good. I can hear a little bit of what's going on around me. If it's a Dacia, it's much better soundproofed than the others. Honestly, we're not at Mercedes level, but it's still very good. The road noise is extremely well contained, and you barely hear the engine when you rev it like this. We'll see how it performs on the highway. There are minor wind noises near the mirrors, but that's it. For me, the Bigster is a car that makes me want to hit the road. The only small thing is the plastic mat here. The Extreme style, it's small, a bit slippery because it's plastic. I prefer when we have carpeted mats. Nope, let's stay here. I'm towing a car like this, but I'm not sure if those small wheels are allowed on the highway. Do you know? Little wheels like that rolled me like that? I don't think so. But it's actually pretty good, honestly. The Bigster and even the Duster on liquefied petroleum gas, or even the other versions that were available on liquefied petroleum gas. Most Dacia customers loved liquefied petroleum gas, and I've already tried almost all the liquefied petroleum gas versions from Dacia for you. Every time we find it still interesting. Look, the Citroën DS and Peugeot Center is here. I'll be coming back in a few days to show you a little exclusive. Citroën invited me to present a future concept to you. You'll see it on the channel, of course. It's right there then. We're in Vélizy, where they develop all the future DS, Citroën, and Peugeot models with the design centers, and it's always very, very interesting to come here each time. All right, first thing, it's really these plastic mats, honestly. I can't take them off right now. I'll have to stop to remove them, because actually my shoes really slip on them. Not practical, since I put my heel down and use the gas pedal this way. And honestly, it really bothers me. All it takes is for them to have been cleaned with something a little slippery, and I find it a little bit annoying. The second thing I criticized when I tried the Bigster for the first time, it's the seat. Which is very flat, which is nice, which is wide, etc. But I have no support behind my knees, so if I want some support, I have to lift myself up as much as I can. Like this. Then, here, manually, I move back a little, which gives me a bit more support, but now I feel very high. Actually, I'm at the level of the sun visor, that's it. That's the only way I get a little bit of support here. But now, I really feel way too high. I almost feel like I'm driving a truck, so that's a bit of a shame. I know SUV drivers prefer sitting higher. I prefer a medium or low seat with support behind my legs, and that was it. The thing is, on this Bigster, there's no support behind because the seat doesn't lift up at the back of the knees. That's the little thing that would have been perfect on the Bigster, to have this part that lifts up a bit. I'd really like that, Dacia, if you can do it on the next one. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments if you agree with me or not, or if you don't care at all and it's fine for you. That way, I'll know if I'm the only crazy one who wants this. And by the way, look at how I've set myself up. I'm in the shade. It was better over there, all in the sun. Notably, when I hit 110 on the speedometer, the global positioning system shows between 108 and 109, which is rare to be that close to reality. That's actually a good thing. I've been driving for a while now. I'm approaching the 91, soon the 77. And I've been averaging 4.8 liters this whole time. I've been at 110 for a while now with a few slowdowns. It's pretty nice. I found the tachometer. And so when I'm exactly at 110, I must be at 2,200 revolutions per minute, which is still pretty nice. It drives well at 110. I'm starting to get a little bit of wind noise, but it's honestly still fine. It's not bad. I feel good in this car. I can hear some things around me, but it's still very faint, even with trucks and other noise. With the music, the sound is fine. Honestly, I don't have much to say, to be honest with you. I actually prefer the sound in this Dacia Bigster over the Alpine. The Alpine has focal speakers, but the sound is poorly tuned and doesn't sound right, whereas here, the sound is decent. It's pretty balanced. It's actually good. So these values are 4.8 liters. I'll keep going for now, taking small roads before trying the highway. We've averaged 4.8 liters so far, driving at 110, and also some city 70 and 90, Coleman H. Here, we're going up to 130, so we're getting on the A6 highway, if I'm not mistaken. See it. So, by going up to 130. There, it's moving a lot. In the other direction, that's not good. Okay, 130, that's it. Is other things? Choices. A lot of wind noise this time. Here. So, can you really hear the engine? We must be at 2,600 revolutions per minute in 6th gear. This time I can hear the engine a bit. Wow, there's a huge traffic jam. Definitely avoid that route on the way back. There's noticeable wind noise on the roof, around the mirrors, and in several spots. I can hear the engine a little bit. Trucks, well, you can hear them a little bit, just like earlier. Highway at 130 is intense. 110 is easy. Check the consumption. Trucks are fine, I think. I have all the console. It's also between 7 and 8 liters. About there, so there's the little gauge that goes up in real time. So we're definitely going to increase the consumption a little bit. I think we'll be, between 7 and 8 liters, depending on the conditions, depending on where you're driving. Afterwards, the goal is to find a balance. We don't just drive our car on the highway, we use it daily and rarely live near highway rest areas. 130. Honestly, to be completely honest, it's a bit like the one I tried in hybrid. It's a little less enjoyable, though same. It makes a little bit of noise, right? Good. I should check if I play some music. I'll put some music back on. Yeah, you kind of forget about the noise, but you can still hear it. In the background, it's pretty noticeable. But still, it's a Dacia, let's not forget that. If you want something more premium, buy a Mercedes. If you can't afford it, go back to work. That's all I can tell you. I'm driving a Twingo, so I don't complain much. Everyone does what they can with what they have, but small compromises are needed. Still, it's a good car. Overall, yes, we're going to take some winding country roads. Let's see how it goes. Yes, I'm on some small country roads here, and the road is in bad shape. An average of 5 liters per 100 kilometers so far on this mixed route, which is honestly very, very good for a vehicle of this size. I don't do any better with my Twingo. That's the worst part and what worries me most. We're leaving now. Roads are badly damaged. It absorbs really well. It's so comfortable. The suspension works well. You can tell it's made to be comfortable. The turn is a little sharp. Ooh. It's not bad, actually. So when I do this, there's, oh, right there, some body roll. Wow. On the other hand, when I take a slightly sharper turn, it leans a bit. And honestly, it's fine. It's really not bad. But I do like the comfort of the Bigster. It's still really very nice. I have to admit, I like it. There you go, you hear a little click, the box is fine. Well, it's like usual, no big surprises there. Now, the big pothole here, there you go. It absorbs the shock really well. We're still comfortable here. That's a really, really big pothole. A really, really big pothole that hits hard. No, it's very good. It's very good. It smokes. It does everything properly except on the highway, where it's true that it's a little bit noisy. Let's be honest. You know the 0 to 100 channel, a road that's completely empty. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 100. He announced it in 10 seconds. Well, we're at 11. Just by eyeballing it, that's enough. We don't need more. It accelerates more than enough. It works properly, and it's still comfortable. It's good, but the key part is the braking test from 100 to 0. Here we go. Woohoo. It stops well, it holds well, it stays straight, and it's still comfortable. I wasn't jolted. I felt that it had strong deceleration power. With a car that handles well, sometimes the 6th gear grinds a little bit on my vehicle. Maybe it's just me. So, both in terms of acceleration and braking, it's still decent. You know me? Sporty mechanics means, of course, a slightly more dynamic test here. Come on, let's push a little. What happens when we push? So, like I said, there's power. It's more than enough. When the turbo kicks in, it really goes, honestly, to tell you the truth, and the chassis remains very pleasant. Honestly, I don't think there's much body roll. When you rev it fully, it's honestly not bad. The braking, like I was saying, has a good bite, and the gearbox is fine. So it's not a sports car, but as you can see, if dad or mom is in a hurry, you can go a little faster. Honestly, I'm respecting the speed limits here. It's very pleasant, as I said, and it brakes well. Just a quick gear shift. Yes, it holds the road pretty well. It filters out all the road imperfections extremely well to keep the tires in contact with the asphalt. And honestly, it's going really well. I have nothing else to tell you except that even in dynamic conditions like this, well, it's honestly going really, really well. My friends, I think I like you a lot, all the viewers of my YouTube channel and all the subscribers. I've decided to go all the way to Orléans without taking the toll roads by taking small roads like this, really making use of it in daily life. So we're going to Orléans using gasoline, and we'll come back from Orléans using liquefied petroleum gas. There you go. That should normally give you a good idea of the comparative consumption, I think. So now there's an hour and 24 minutes left to go. I'm on the road. I just passed the 100-kilometer mark, and I have an average consumption. Oops, some music there. Average consumption is 5.2 liters after exactly 103 kilometers. Which is really cool for gasoline so far on unleaded 95 in my opinion. Should I overtake that truck? I can do it, let's go. 6th gear, 90. It takes a little bit of time before the turbo kicks in. Alright, and I overtake smoothly. I could have downshifted 1 or 2 gears to really get some power, but for me, it was fine like that. In the end, if it's a bit clear, it works. So up to that point, it's okay. Very, very pleasant, this Bigster. And then 5.2 liters on average, that's really not bad, especially knowing there were quite a few small villages. You constantly change speeds, 50, 70, 90, back to 70, 60, 50, then 70 again, and so on, and so on. Honestly, it's going well. I have 1 hour left to get to Orléans. I might stop a bit earlier, since if it's just small roads and villages, it may not be that interesting. But we can consider a mix. 5.2 liters per 100 in gas is excellent. 125 kilometers. I'm going to turn around and do 125 kilometers in the other direction on the same roads. I get to Chilleroy-Bois. It's towards Orléans over there. I remember often going through the countryside back in the day. So average A. It averages 5 liters per 100 kilometers. Really not bad. I'm going to stop at the station here and turn around. There we go. Calmly, it's closed, completely closed, but there's no liquefied petroleum gas. It's true that you can't find liquefied petroleum gas everywhere. Maybe that's the one little downside. So don't move, I'm filming this for you. That way you can't say, Nico, that's not true. Some people tell me that sometimes in the comments. So 5 liters over 125.8 kilometers distance on gasoline, and then we have the total distance. So with what was initialized this morning, the energy flows and all that. Yeah, I'm pretty eco. That's the compass, the music, the global positioning system here, and that's it. The liquefied petroleum gas gauge shows 520 kilometers left on liquefied petroleum gas. After driving 125 kilometers, this gasoline car still has 700 kilometers of range left. So what I'm doing here is pressing a little liquefied petroleum gas button here. So there are no more little bars lighting up around it. But now I know I've switched to liquefied petroleum gas because it says liquefied petroleum gas on this side, so it's on liquefied petroleum gas here. And this time it's running on liquefied petroleum gas. It shows 520 kilometers average on liquefied petroleum gas, 0 UP. And we're continuing. Distance on liquefied petroleum gas. We've covered 200 meters so far and we're off again. So this time we're back on liquefied petroleum gas, all right. Between gasoline and liquefied petroleum gas in terms of driving feel, normally there's no difference at all. I'm gonna stop the global positioning system and then head back the other way. Torque and power can differ slightly with a liquefied petroleum gas, often giving a bit more of both, because it might burn a little better than gasoline. So here, it's showing me 520, so we're good to go. I just want to check, even though it says liquefied petroleum gas distance. Yeah, that's how it is. At least it separates when you press the button, which is good. That way, it even lets you make the distinction with your calculations, and it restarts just as well. As I was saying, we're switching to GPL, and aiming to cover 125 kilometers on it in all conditions, including some highway driving. Same thing near the outskirts of Ile-de-France, and with the small country roads. All that at the beginning, plus the little winding road. To really do the same things again with the 0 to 100, try to see how it goes. In terms of fuel consumption, and so it seems to me that's what I'm saying. If it's been a while since I switched to liquefied petroleum gas, and although it uses a bit more, it costs half as much, it's still always more cost-effective. And while I'm thinking about it, we have start and stop, just like with gasoline. Also when we're on liquefied petroleum gas. To be honest, I went to grab a quick McDonald's, but since then, I've been driving it, and it's clearly better compared to the previous liquefied petroleum gas version. The Eco G100 still has a significant 40 horsepower difference. A lot. The engine displacement, we're no longer at 1 liter. We've moved up to a 1.3 liter. That's also what makes the difference. And you can really feel it, to be honest, more torques and so on. So here, for example, every time, as soon as I get back on it, it starts up again, and off we go. When it comes to acceleration, it's really when you get up into the higher revs that you'll notice the difference. Clearly, with the one letter, you really have to push it quite far if you want real power. But that bothers me. I like to go from 4th to 6th sometimes. It saves me from going to 5th and shifting again. I'm used to pushing 4th gear a bit and it grinds slightly. But yeah, it's a pretty nice car, and whether you're running on liquefied petroleum gas or not, it's the same. We're just gonna check the fuel consumption now. So since earlier, I've driven 81 kilometers only on small country roads, and I decided to change and take the National 20 to head back toward Paris. I thought this route would be better and avoid the A6's traffic jams, but there are still many here too. Average liquefied petroleum gas consumption is 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Yes, we also measure this compressed gas in liters. It gives you liters. If you paid attention in elementary school, well, gas under pressure becomes liquid. So I'll keep going like this. There will normally be some parts at 110, and a little bit of everything as well, so we'll keep going like this. I'll give you another quick consumption debrief. When we've done 100 kilometers and 120 kilometers, same thing. Well, I just passed 100 kilometers, exactly 101.5, and I have a very, very good average consumption of 6.3 liters per 100. So knowing that I mainly drove on country roads at 80, 70, 90, it will obviously increase if I do more city driving. So that's why at the end here, it's showing me 38 minutes, almost 40 minutes to cover 20 kilometers. So obviously that's going to change a little bit. But you see, when you drive really calmly or on smooth roads in the countryside, nothing beats it. Traffic jams are fuel consumption's worst enemy. So those of you who live in the countryside, you're really lucky. Come on, let's get up to 110 here. Let's go. I'm in 5th gear. 110. At engine speed and so on, it's exactly the same as with gasoline, since really it's just the fuel that's different. No more noise or less noise from the engine, it's exactly the same. So here, the only thing that will differ is the fuel consumption. Quick note on fuel consumption. I've driven over 100 kilometers so far. It still shows 510 kilometers of liquefied petroleum gas range. DACIA's claimed total range of 1,400 kilometers means 1,400 kilometers of driving. Like what I just did here, it's not highway driving and it's not city driving. You'll get less if you only drive on highways or in the city. But I think you'll still reach at least 1,000 kilometers with 2 full tanks easily. All right, today's the last day with this Bigster 140G. I'm getting ready to take it back. I drove it again yesterday, went for a little ride, and that's it. On liquefied petroleum gas, the consumption increases a little bit. Right now, I'm averaging 7 liters, which is still relatively decent. And we're going to keep going like this until we get there. I still have 29 kilometers left in Ile-de-France to see how it goes. So a station that's a bit more every day if we're more urban. And that way we'll really have done something for everyone. There you go. Here I am. I've arrived. So in the end, I added a few kilometers, so now I'm at 157 kilometers. On liquefied petroleum gas and an average of 6.9 per 100 on liquefied petroleum gas, which is actually pretty good. And so if I switch back to gasoline, I had an average of 5.2 liters, which was really great. Over exactly 126 kilometers. When you see the size of the machine, you might think, no, it's going to consume a lot. And actually, with these new engines, which are still quite efficient, it's pretty interesting. Come on, let's do a little debrief. So, do we approve the Bigster on liquefied petroleum gas or not? Well, yeah, it's interesting. But especially if you get it in its essential version, so the cheapest one. And as we've seen, in the end, liquefied petroleum gas doesn't consume that much. The new engines are really super efficient. It's actually pretty impressive, honestly, when I see that this big thing consumes less than my Twingo CSE 70 horsepower, 1 liter, even though the thing barely weighs a ton. Well, I think it's really impressive what they're able to do with new technologies, especially micro-hybrid systems, which are actually pretty useful in the city. It could have been a bit more advanced, like cutting the engine a little earlier, but it's already very good. It avoids having a start and stop system that restarts. Here it's very quick and efficient. It's pleasant for everyday use. The fuel consumption is really top-notch. The hybrid version does even better in terms of fuel consumption because the hybrid version is really incredible, but it's not the same price. The hybrid versions are available on the more expensive models. That's it. So it's up to you to choose. If you like liquefied petroleum gas, it's cheaper to use. I think there's also a good second-hand market for liquefied petroleum gas vehicles. There are markets in France where liquefied petroleum gas sells the most, also in Europe, because it's still interesting and it pollutes less as well. In short, there are still quite a few advantages. What would be your favorite engine type? I have to admit, I really like hybrids because there are still a lot of phases in electric and so on. Personally, I prefer hybrids. But if I really had to pay out of my own pocket, I think in the end, this version is interesting, especially because you don't have to fill up every other day, if you can find a station. Sure, you'll have to use both gas and liquefied petroleum gas, but it also lets you drive much longer. It's your choice. What would you pick? I'm curious. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Saying hi also helps the video's ranking. See you soon. Bye.